Hi, this is B. Chiranjeev Rao, Junior Lecturer in Physics APRJC Tatipudi. In this video lesson, we'll discuss about the applications of Gauss law. So, the first application of Gauss law, we are going to derive the expression for the electric intensity due to an infinite long straight charged wire. So, first of all, just recall the definition of Gauss law. The total electric flux through any closed surface, which is equal to 1 by epsilon times the net charged enclosed by the surface. That means the net flux is equal to closed integral E dot ds is equal to q times q 1 by epsilon naught times its charge. This is what is called Gauss law. Using this law, we can find the expression for electric intensity due to an infinite long straight charged wire. So, infinite long charged wire, let us consider this a long straight wire which is charged with certain charge Q. If the length of the wire is L and the charge on this is Q, then the linear charge density, uniform linear charge density, uniform linear charge density, this is denoted with lambda. So lambda is equal to total charge by total length, or this implies charge equal to lambda into L. So this is what is Coulomb per meter. The unit is Coulomb per meter. Now we have considered a wire of infinite length, long straight charged wire, and we have to consider to determine the electric field intensity at a particular distance. Say for example, I just write down that at a distance of r, I would like to find the electric field intensity. So this is what is called Gaussian surface. This is Gaussian surface. This cylindrical shape, and this surface has consists of three different parts with different areas. Say for example, this particular part, say S1, and this bottom is S2, and this curved part is S3. So there are the three parts of this cylindrical Gaussian surface due to this long charged wire. We can consider at any distance r, radius r. Just you imagine this is a cylinder, and this cylinder can be imagined with three different areas: the upper part, circular part, and the lower circular part, bottom part, and this particular curved part. These are the three different surfaces that this Gaussian surface is imagined in a cylindrical shape. Now what we have to do is, first of all, if you consider some area here, this is radius r, And you imagine any surface here, small surface, if you just, this is ds, and the electric field is always radial in this direction, not in this direction. So electric field is in this direction. This is a uniform, this is electric field produced by this charge. And you imagine a small element. I write here this is ds2, I write here this is ds1, and you imagine any another part ds3, small element. Now, as per the definition, flux is equal to E dot S, that is equal to E S cos theta, or sometimes you write down ds, no problem. Then you can write down this as E ds. So, suppose if theta is 90 degrees, then flux is 0. So in two cases, for surface S1, for surface S2, the electric field is normal to the direction of the surface. That is why there is no electric flux. There is no electric flux in the along the surface S1 and S2, the outward direction. And we have only one surface, that is curved surface, through which we can imagine the electric flux. So I write here the electric flux through the surface, curved surface. If this curved surface is opened, you will be getting a rectangle like this. If you open the cylindrical surface S3, say this is S3, you will get a rectangular surface. Now this has a length L, this has length and breadth. This is L and this is 2 pi r. So, what is the area of this now? The area of this is equal to, area of this curved surface S3 is equal to, total area is equal to 2 pi r into L. This is the area of the curved surface, total area. So, phi 3 is equal to, according to Gauss law, phi 3 is equal to integral, closed surface integral, E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. This you can write down as E closed integral ds. I write here this is ds3 is equal to q by epsilon naught. So now let us imagine that phi 3 is equal to, you know pretty well, closed integral ds3, this total area is equal to E into ds3 is how much? 2 pi rl. 2 pi rl is equal to q by epsilon naught. And now we are going to find the value of E. But instead of q, you can write down L lambda. This is uniform linear charge density. Therefore, E is equal to, instead of q, you can write down lambda into L by 2 pi RL. 2 pi RL into epsilon naught. So now the L is cancelled. So finally, electric field intensity is equal to lambda by 2 pi R into epsilon naught. This is the electric field intensity due to an infinite long straight charged wire. This is how we can determine the value of the electric field intensity due to long straight wire. The length of this wire is L. Here you have to remember that. The charge on this is Q. So linear charge density is Q by L. And in a vector form, this you can write down in a vector form. E bar is equal to lambda by 2 pi r epsilon naught, lambda by 2 pi r epsilon naught into n cap. So this is the vector form. This is the magnitude, and that will be the electric field in the normal to that of the E and S. Okay. Now let us observe the another application. The electric field intensity due to an infinite plane sheet, charged plane sheet. Now let us apply the Gauss law to find the expression for electric intensity due to an infinite plane sheet of charge sum, uniform charge density. So if the charge on this rectangular, infinite rectangular plane sheet, this is a plane sheet, and you imagine the parallelepiped cross section of this towards right side and towards left side, the total parallelepiped shape, and the cross section of this parallelepiped is a area of cross section. Area of cross section of this parallelepiped is area of cross section of parallelepiped is, say, A. Now this sheet is charged with some charge Q, then surface charge density. Surface charge density. Surface charge density sigma is equal to total charge by its area. So this implies we can write down charge is equal to sigma multiplied by A. So Coulomb per meter square. Sigma is equal to surface charge density is Coulomb per meter square. Now we have to consider the Gaussian, this is the Gaussian surface under our consideration, and the area of cross section is, this is A. Now we have to consider 4 surfaces. This is one surface. Let us consider here one surface in this direction, and I will consider another surface here. I will consider some surface here, and I will consider another surface here. So this is S1, and this is right here. This is S1. This is S2, and this is S3. This surface is S3, and this surface is S4. Now the electric field intensity in this is E. Electric field intensity due to this in the direction of along x-axis. Along x-axis is E. So right here the electric field intensity is E in this direction. Now this particular part, so right here this ds, and this is also normal drawn to this direction, ds, and normal drawn to this direction, ds, and this is also ds. If you observe S1 and E electric field are in the same direction. The area, the normal drawn to the area and the electric field intensity both are in the same direction. And if you observe this here, this lies in the direction of z-axis, the normal drawn to this small surface. So this particular surface is normal to that of the electric field intensity. And if you consider this surface S4, and normal drawn to this surface is also perpendicular to electric field. And here if you observe S3, the normal drawn to this surface is parallel to the direction of the electric field. So if you observe that there are 4 surfaces are under consideration: S1, S2, S3, S4. These are the 4 surfaces under consideration. In 2 cases, the ds and E are parallel. For S1 and S3, for S1 and S3, the angle between E and ds, how much? In these 2 cases, theta is equal to 0. These 2 are parallel. For S2 and S4, for S2 and S4, angle between E and ds, theta is equal to 90 degrees. So according to Gauss law, or according to electric flux definition, phi is E dot ds. So there is no flux in the direction of z-axis. It has only electric flux in the direction of x-axis along the parallelepiped, the normal to its cross-section area. Therefore, the flux due to S1 and S3, we have flux due to S1 and S3, flux due to S2 and S4, I write here, flux due to S2 and S4 is 0. And the flux due to the surfaces S1 and S3, flux due to surfaces S1 and S3, that is equal to, I write here, phi 3 is equal to phi 1 is equal to how much? According to Gauss law, closed surface integral E dot ds is equal to q by epsilon naught. So there are, you can write down phi 1, and similarly we can also write down this. You can write down this implies phi is equal to phi 1 or phi 2, both are equal, phi 3. Phi 1 is equal to E into A, closed integral ds is A, that is equal to q by epsilon naught, and phi 3 is equal to same, E into A is equal to Q by epsilon naught. But Q is, how much Q is? Sigma into A by epsilon naught. This is also sigma into A by epsilon naught. So finally, from this equation, according to the surface S1, now you can cancel A. E is equal to, so E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught due to one surface S1. There is another surface S3. So total flux you can write down is equal to phi1 plus phi2 plus phi3 plus phi4. Then what is the flux here? Total flux is equal to how much? There are two zeros. Flux due to phi1, 1 and 3. There are sigma by epsilon naught plus 0 plus sigma by epsilon naught. I'll write down here. So I write here. So electric flux through Gaussian surface this is phi is equal to 2 E A, because this become 0 and this become 0, you will get 2 times of EA, and say this is equation 1. But according to Gauss theorem, the total electric flux is equal to Q times 1 by epsilon naught. Suppose if you observe these two equations, what happened? 2 now this can be written as, instead of Q you can write down sigma A by epsilon naught. I write here this is equation 2. Now from these two equations we can determine the value of E. So the value of E is from 1 and 2, from equation 1 and 2. From equations 1 and 2. 2 E A is equal to total flux due to the Gaussian surface is equal to Q into 1 by epsilon naught, that is equal to sigma A by epsilon naught. Now this can be cancelled. So we are going to find the electric field intensity is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is the electric field intensity due to the infinite charged sheet, sigma by 2 epsilon naught. The vector form, if you want to express this in vector form, we can also write down this in a vector form. E bar is equal to sigma by 2 epsilon naught into n cap. This is the expression for the electric field intensity due to infinite charged sheet. Now let us apply the Gauss law to determine the expression for electric intensity due to a charged conducting spherical shell at different positions. A spherical shell, a point outside the shell, a point on the surface of the shell, and a point inside the shell. So in this case, we have to consider a spherical shell. This is the spherical shell of radius at center O. The radius is R. And we have to, this is charged with some charge plus Q. Like this. Then what is the charge density of this? Surface charge density? Sigma is equal to total charge by A. That is equal to Q by 4 pi R square. So charge is equal to sigma into 4 pi R square. So the charge. And now we have to imagine the Gaussian surface outside the sphere. See, just imagine this is R, and imagine any Gaussian surface outside this at a distance R from center. So the radius vector is small r. Now let us consider a Gaussian surface, the radius of R. You consider any point. And the electric field direction is always normal to the surface. And the radius vector is also in the direction of electric field intensity. And this electric field intensity is same at any point on the Gaussian surface. So now I write here this is Gaussian surface. Gaussian surface with radius small r. So now let us find the value of flux through the small area, this area. And the electric field and the radius vector are in the same direction. The normal drawn to the surface is also in the same direction, parallel to each other. Now let us find the electric flux. Phi is equal to, as per definition, closed integral E dot ds. Closed integral E dot ds. Then that is equal to how much? E into closed integral ds. But this is a small element. If you integrate this throughout this sphere, you will get E into 4 pi r square. This is the flux, total flux through the Gaussian surface. Phi is equal to E into 4 pi small r square. And now, but you know, phi is equal to, according to Gauss theorem, phi is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Suppose if this is equation 1 and this is equation 2, from these two equations, and Q by epsilon naught can be written as Q by epsilon naught. Q can be written as sigma 4 pi r square. So finally, now let us compare the two equations from equation 1 and 2. From equation 1 and 2, E into 4 pi small r square is equal to Q by epsilon naught. But Q can be written as that Q by epsilon naught. But you know, sigma is equal to Q by A, that is equal to Q by 4 pi r square. So you can write down instead of Q, sigma into this is equal to sigma into 4 pi capital R square. So now you can find out E is equal to 4 pi cancelled, sigma by epsilon naught into capital R square by small r square. This is the expression for the electric field intensity. Sorry, this also we have to write down epsilon naught. This implies Q is equal to sigma into 4 pi capital R square. That is what I wrote here. Sigma into 4 pi r square by epsilon naught. So 4 pi cancelled and E is equal to capital R square E sigma by epsilon naught into capital R square by small r square. This is the expression for the electric field intensity due to a spherical shell outside the spherical shell, a point outside the spherical shell at a distance r. Now let us go to the next case, a point on the surface of the shell. So a point on the surface of the shell, instead of r we have to write down. In the second case, the point is exactly on the surface. So we can write down small r is equal to capital R. So exactly on the surface. Then what happened? E is equal to, this become 1, sigma by epsilon naught, a point on the surface of the shell. And the third one is a point inside the shell. A point inside the shell. Electric field intensity is 0 because charge does not exist inside the shell. Suppose you imagine there is another surface, Gaussian surface inside the shell, and the charge does not exist inside the cell, hence E is 0. In the third case, so in this third case, this Gaussian surface encloses no charge. This has no charge. So Q is 0 in this case. So E is 0. There is no electric field inside the spherical shell at any point. On the surface, it is E is equal to sigma by epsilon naught. Outside the spherical shell, at any point on, it is sigma by epsilon naught into r square, capital R square by small r square. So these are the three equations. Now I write here, this is 1 outside the surface, this is 2, and this is 3. The first case, a point outside the shell is sigma by epsilon naught into r square by r square. At any point on the surface of the shell is sigma by epsilon naught. At any point inside the shell is 0. Now, these are the three different cases where we can observe the electric field intensity of the charged spherical shell. And now let us observe the problem. Two infinitely long thin straight wires having uniform linear charge densities lambda and 2 lambda are arranged parallel to each other at a distance r apart. The intensity of electric field at a point midway between them is. So, what is actually given? There are two wires, straight wires, long thin straight wires. So, this is one wire, and there is a parallel wire, another wire. These two wires are separated by a distance r. These two separated by a distance r. And now this is charged. This is also charged. This is also charged. And the charge density is lambda, and the charge density of this is 2 lambda. So the charge is more on this one. So actually we have to find the electric field intensity at this point, midway. So this distance is actually r by 2. And this distance from this one is also r by 2. So now the electric field intensity due to this one is E1. Electric field intensity due to this one is E2, the first wire and the second wire. Now the net electric field at this point E is equal to E2 minus E1. But electric field intensity due to a thin wire, long thin wire, as you know, electric field intensity due to a thin wire is equal to, this is the formula in general, for electric field intensity. E is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught into r, where r is the distance at which we considered the point. So now let us substitute here. The net electric field at the midpoint is equal to E2 lambda, 2 lambda, this is 2 lambda, 2 lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught to distance is at a distance r by 2 minus whatever this one, electric field intensity due to this conductor, lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r by 2. So now we will get how much? This is equal to lambda by 2 pi epsilon naught r. The 2 is also cancelled. Now let us simplify this. In all this case, 2 cancelled. So you will get 2 lambda minus lambda. You will get lambda by pi epsilon naught r. That is the electric field at this point. So at this point, E is equal to lambda by pi epsilon naught r. This is the electric field intensity at the midway between these two conductors. Students, the end of this chapter, electric charges and fields. As far as the Board of Intermediate Exam is concerned, you have to give top priority to answer these 6 questions. And I will also give you the relevant notes I will send to your WhatsApp group. Now just I will read out all these questions, and if you observe the previous videos, you can answer all these questions. Just you prepare your notes with your own. So the first one is, state and explain Coulomb's inverse square law in electricity. So this is Coulomb's law. F is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. That is the relevant derivation you have to do. And the second one is, define intensity of electric field at a point. You have to derive the definition. You have to define the definition. Electric field intensity is nothing but the force acting on unit positive charge in the electric field. And then you have to derive the expression for the intensity due to a point charge. That is equal to E is equal to, you have to derive 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. And the next one is, derive an equation for the couple acting on an electric dipole in uniform electric field. So couple is equal to P cross E. That is what you have to derive, P E sin theta. And next one, derive an expression for the intensity of electric field at a point on the axial line of the dipole. So for this, what you have to do, you have to derive the expression for the equation for the electric field intensity on axial line. That is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2p by r cube. And the fifth one, derive an expression for the intensity of electric field at any point on the equatorial line of electric dipole. So for this, you have to derive E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught P by R cube. And the last one is, state Gauss law in electrostatics and its importance. You have to define Gauss law. Phi is equal to total electric flux. Phi is equal to closed integral E dot ds is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So now I will write down in nutshell. For this you have to derive F equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. That is the necessary formula you have to derive. And this is electric field intensity is equal to force acting on positive charge. Therefore, you have to derive E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R square. And for this, you have to couple on a dipole. Couple or torque is equal to P cross E. That is equal to PE sin theta into n cap. If you consider that this is a vector. Derive the expression for the intensity of electric field at any point on the axial line of the dipole. For this, you have to derive E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2p by r cube. This is the necessary formula for this. And the second, this one is, for this one, fifth one, E is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught p by r cube. And for Gauss law, the total electric flux enclosed with the closed surface of charge q is equal to closed surface integral E dot ds is equal to 1 by epsilon naught times the total charge enclosed with that surface. So this is what we have to answer for all these questions. This is very, very important for public examination. Just note it down. And all these questions are come under short answer type questions, and each question will be given for 4 marks. And there are some other questions, very short answer type and long answer type questions that can also be studied by going through your previous lessons. But this is most important part of the lesson as far as the Board of Intermediate is concerned. And all of you write down these questions and also write down the answers to these questions, and you just send the notes to your concerned lecturer through WhatsApp, or while coming to the college you come with the lecture notes. Okay, thank you my dear students. This is all regarding the electric charges and fields. There are some 5 videos prepared Out of these 5, if you go through, you must be in a position to, you will be able to answer all the questions which will be given in your public examination. Thank you, my dear students. Thank you all.